So Ben, how do you think that thorn pierced your, back?
Walking along this
A dark
trail, I just heard the creepiest shit. I don't even know.
A group of about 200 people ventured deep into the Missouri woods after rumors spread about a mysterious figure haunting their neighborhood. They were determined to find answers, so they explored a forest clearing together. The atmosphere quickly changed as they moved deeper inside the trees. The air felt colder, and an uneasy feeling started building up among them, as if something was watching from the shadows. Without warning, they suddenly spotted something in the distance that made everyone freeze.
So Ben, how do you think that thorn pierced your, back?
A dark figure was kneeling in the woods, completely still, silently staring directly at them. It didn't speak or move at all. The unnatural stillness made the moment even more terrifying. Panic spread instantly, and within seconds, they dropped their camera and ran away in fear, not wanting to look back at whatever they had just seen. Later, they returned to retrieve their camera and found the footage still recorded. When they reviewed it and uploaded it to YouTube, viewers noticed something strange. Just moments before the figure appeared, one of them can be heard mentioning a piercing, cold stare, as if they had already felt the presence before seeing it. That small detail made the entire experience even more unsettling and unexplainable. Do you think they really saw a mysterious entity? Or was it just fear playing tricks on their minds? Late one evening, a Reddit user captured a blurry video deep in the woods. In the shaky footage, a tall, skinny figure suddenly appears, moving quickly between the trees. Its motion looks strange and almost unnatural, as if it isn't walking like a normal person. The brief appearance is enough to create a chilling feeling, especially in the quiet, dark forest setting. Some viewers tried to dismiss it as just a shadow or a trick of light. However, the original user disagreed, explaining that the nearest lights in the distance were almost 400 meters away, making it unlikely that they could create such a clear and defined shape. This detail made the clip even more confusing, as the usual explanations didn't seem to fully match what was seen. Based on the surrounding trees, some estimated that the figure could have been nearly 3 meters tall, which makes it even more disturbing and hard to explain. Still, the footage is extremely low quality, making it impossible to confirm exactly what it was. In the end, the video leaves behind more questions than answers, stuck between possibility and pure mystery. Do you think it was just a trick of light and camera quality? Or was something truly unknown in the woods? A TikToker was walking alone on a secluded trail deep inside dense woods, surrounded by complete silence. The atmosphere felt heavy and strange, as if something wasn't right. Suddenly, she heard a voice from somewhere nearby calling out for help. The sound was faint, but clear enough to send chills through her body. She immediately stopped, confused and scared, looking around to find where it came from. But there was no one in sight. The silence that followed made everything feel even more disturbing.
I was walking along this trail. I just heard the creepiest shit. I don't even know. Did you guys hear that? There's nobody out here. I keep hearing somebody. Hold on. There's no way, you guys. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Moments later, the voice came again, calling for help once more. This time it felt closer and more urgent. Her fear quickly turned into panic as her heart started racing. The situation felt unnatural, like something was off. Without wasting any time, her instincts took control. completely terrified, so she turned around and started running as fast as she could, trying to escape whatever was behind that voice in the woods. After the video was shared online, it sparked a huge debate among viewers. Some believed she should have stayed and checked, thinking someone might truly need help. Others argued it could have been a trap, and that leaving immediately was the safest choice. In situations like this, where danger is unclear, trusting your instincts can sometimes be the difference between safety and risk. If you heard someone calling for help in a place like that, would you stay or run? Remote drillers in Canada's Yukon captured a bizarre event in the night sky during an ordinary evening. While working in the isolated region, one of them recorded a strange, pulsating light hovering silently above the horizon. At first, it looked like a distant star or aircraft, but its behavior quickly made it feel something completely different and unusual. The light stayed still for a moment, gently pulsing, as if it was alive. Then, without any warning, it suddenly accelerated at an unbelievable speed and vanished into the darkness within seconds.
Oh, dude. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that, bro? What the fuck is that? I don't know, man. No idea. Holy fuck. Yeah, no fucking idea. There ain't no clouds. I don't know what the hell that is, man.
The movement was so fast and smooth that it didn't match anything the witnesses had ever seen before. It left everyone confused and trying to understand what they had just experienced. According to the people who saw it, the object did not behave like any known aircraft or drone. Its silent hovering and instant disappearance made the incident even more mysterious. Some believe it could be a rare atmospheric phenomenon, while others think it might be something unexplained. Whatever it was, the footage left more questions than answers, making the night in Yukon truly unforgettable. Do you think the pulsating light in the Yukon night sky was a real UFO, or just a normal aircraft or natural phenomenon that looked unusual from a distance? Before we go any further, I'd like to ask you for a quick favor. If you are enjoying the video so far, please give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. We're getting closer to 30,000 subscribers, and once we hit that milestone, a few lucky subscribers will receive a special surprise. Now let's go back to the video. A TikTok user named Jose Maria Rios Castillo, along with his friends, was riding bikes along a dirt road late at night. The group was moving together through the dark path when something strange suddenly happened. As Jose separated from the group and took a narrower trail, his bike light briefly illuminated something unusual in the middle of the road ahead. In that moment, his camera captured a sudden movement that didn't seem normal. What appeared in front of him looked like a woman standing in the path, wearing a long black gown. Her long brown hair completely covered her face, making it impossible to see any facial features. The image was brief, but it was enough to create a disturbing and unforgettable impression. Some viewers later suggested it might have been just a tree trunk or a trick of shadows created by the night lighting. However, others pointed out Jose's immediate reaction, saying it didn't seem like something he would react to if it were completely ordinary. That split second of fear left people debating whether it was just an illusion or something far more unsettling caught on camera. Do you think it was just shadows and nature playing tricks, or something that shouldn't have been there? A Reddit user named Movie Meditations shared a strange and fascinating story online. Their mother had captured an image of a bright, circular object glowing in the sky. The light looked unusual and didn't resemble anything common like a plane or a star. What made it even more mysterious was that the user's brother had also seen the same object at the same time. The sighting quickly caught attention, leaving many people curious and searching for answers. As the image spread, people began sharing different ideas about what the object could be. Some suggested it might be a rare natural phenomenon, something not often seen in the sky. Others believed it could be something more unusual, as the bright circular shape didn't match typical weather or atmospheric patterns. The mystery deepened, as no clear explanation could fully match what both witnesses had seen. Soon, the discussion turned into a mix of science and imagination, and some users speculated that the object could be linked to something beyond normal understanding, possibly even connected to spiritual experiences or unknown forces. A few even considered the idea of extraterrestrial observation, wondering if it could be something not from Earth. With no confirmed answer, the mystery remains unsolved, leaving people to question what truly appeared in the sky that night. What do you think that glowing object in the sky really was? A Reddit user shared a chilling story about a late-night visit to the Pioneer West Tower during the COVID lockdown. Around 1 a.m., they took a photo of the old 19th century structure, not expecting anything unusual. The area was quiet, almost too quiet, with a heavy and eerie atmosphere surrounding the tower. At first, everything seemed normal, but later, when they looked closely at the photo, they noticed something strange that they hadn't seen before. Near a tree in the image, there appeared to be a human-like figure standing still. The shape was unclear, but disturbingly similar to a person. What made the situation even more unsettling was the fact that behind that figure, there was a hidden graveyard. It was known that pioneers who had died while building the tower were buried there. The combination of the strange figure and the history of the Ilmacan made the moment feel deeply haunting and impossible to ignore. Since that night, the memory has stayed with the user, leaving a lasting sense of fear. What made it even more disturbing was that one of their friends who was on that trip tragically passed away a year later. The coincidence made the experience feel even darker, as if something from that night never truly left them. Some believe it was just a shadow or illusion, while others think it could be something far more mysterious and unexplained. Do you think the figure in the photo was just a shadow, or something truly supernatural? A Reddit user shared a strange and unsettling experience while visiting the National Monument of Scotland in Edinburgh with their girlfriend. Wanting to capture the moment, they asked a stranger to take their photo using a Polaroid camera. Everything felt completely ordinary at the time, and there was no one else around them when the picture was taken. However, things took a shocking turn when the photo started to develop. As the image slowly became clear, they noticed something that shouldn't have been there. Standing beside them in the picture was a mysterious figure. The shape looked human, but they were certain no one else was present when the photo was taken. The unexpected presence in the image left them confused and deeply unsettled. Even now, they have no explanation for what appeared in that photo. The moment has stayed with them, leaving behind a chilling feeling they can't shake off. Some people believe it could be a glitch or a trick of the camera, while others think it might be something paranormal. Whatever it was, the experience turned a simple memory into something truly haunting. If you saw an unknown figure appear in your photo, would you believe it was a glitch or something paranormal? A group of friends on a trip to Alaska captured a photo during their journey, which they later shared on Reddit. According to the original poster, every person present was fully accounted for at the exact moment the picture was taken. Nothing unusual was noticed at first, and the photo seemed like a normal travel memory from their adventure in the wild landscapes of Alaska. However, everything changed when they later zoomed into the background of the image. There, they noticed something deeply unsettling: a gray, human-like face with glowing eyes staring out from the distance. The presence looked unnatural and completely out of place in the snowy surroundings. The discovery shocked them, turning an ordinary photo into something far more disturbing and mysterious. Some commenters tried to explain it logically, suggesting it might have been a piece of gear or equipment with reflective parts that accidentally created the illusion of a face. But the original poster rejected this idea, explaining that they carefully checked all their gear immediately after noticing the image and found nothing that could match what appeared in the photo. The mystery remains unsolved, leaving people divided between a rational explanation and something far more supernatural. Do you think the glowing face was just an illusion, or something truly unexplained? A Reddit user shared a strange experience that happened while they were driving home from a remote mountainous area. During the drive, they took a quick photo of the surroundings to send to some friends. At the time, everything seemed completely normal, and nothing unusual was noticed. It was just a quiet road, on and surrounded by mountains and a lonely house in the distance. However, later, when they looked closely at the photo, they noticed something strange near the house. A mysterious figure appeared in the image, standing in a way that immediately caught their attention. The shape looked odd and didn't seem to fit naturally into the scene. This discovery made them question what they had actually captured without realizing it in the moment. The user began wondering whether it could be something supernatural or simply a real person caught in an unusual pose or lighting effect. Even if it was just a person, the situation still felt strange and unexplained because nothing about that moment had seemed out of the ordinary when the photo was taken. The uncertainty is what makes the story even more unsettling and keeps people debating what was really seen. And do you think it was just a normal person in the background or something more mysterious? A Reddit user shared a chilling childhood experience from 2016 when they were just 13 years old. They visited Plas Teg in North Wales with their cousin and father during a haunted house tour. While walking around the grounds, they kept their phone cameras open, hoping to capture something unusual. Everything changed in a single moment. While looking through their phone camera, they suddenly saw something that made them freeze in fear. When they looked up from the screen toward the same direction, there was nothing there at all. That confusing moment stayed with them deeply, especially because the rest of the tour had been uneventful, except for a few unverified claims from others about orbs and moving objects. But this personal experience felt different and far more real to them. The user also mentioned that the road outside the mansion is rumored to be haunted by the Gray Lady, with stories of car crashes caused by drivers swerving to avoid something unseen. Even their father experienced a crash on that road, though it was explained as a pheasant hitting the windshield. Still, the area left a strong psychological impact, with an unsettling feeling every time they passed it. Even now, the memory remains vivid, fueling their continued interest in paranormal stories and mysteries. Do you think these experiences are just coincidence or signs of something truly haunting? A Reddit user shared a photo from their backpacking trip in a remote, far-off location. They captioned it, asking people to help them figure out whether what they captured was just a bug on the camera or a woman wearing an old dress standing in the distance. At first, it seemed like a simple hiking memory, but the image quickly turned into something far more unsettling. When the group looked closely at the picture, a chilling feeling ran down their spines. In the background, there was a figure that none of them remembered seeing during the hike. She was not part of their group, and according to everyone present, no other person had been on that trail at the time. The shape looked humanoid, but strangely still and out of place, making the whole moment feel disturbing and hard to explain. Some viewers tried to dismiss it as a camera glitch or a bug close to the lens, but others strongly disagreed, pointing out that the shape and posture looked too detailed to be something so simple. The original poster also felt unsure, but admitted that it didn't look like a bug to them either. The mystery remains unsolved, leaving people divided between logic and something far more eerie. Do you think it was just a bug on the camera, or something that shouldn't have been there? In the dark, shadowy forests of the Appalachia region, one man's night takes a terrifying turn. As he struggles to close the door of his home, his dog suddenly starts barking frantically toward the woods. The calm night is shattered. And then, silence. A pause that feels heavier than anything. That's when it comes. A blood-curdling, inhuman scream rising from the darkness. It's not an animal. It's not human. It sounds almost like something is trying to imitate a human voice, but failing. The man panics. He leaves the door ajar and rushes away, breathing fast, heart pounding. The fear in that brief moment is palpable. You can feel how real it was for him. The scream seems to stretch into the night, echoing through the trees as if something unseen is watching, waiting, drawing him and anyone else into the woods. The tension builds not just from what you see, but from what you imagine might be lurking just beyond the tree line. What makes this even creepier is that the sound matches legends from Appalachia. Stories of mysterious entities that lure people into the forest, never to return. There's no clear answer, no visible culprit, just the question that lingers long after the video ends. So, what was really out there in the darkness that night? A few friends went deep into the jungle to see wild animals up close. It was broad daylight, and they were excited, talking, pointing their camera into the trees, hoping to capture something rare. The air felt heavy, but nothing seemed unusual. And then, without warning, a lion stepped out from the bushes right in front of them. Huge, muscular, staring straight at the group. For a second, nobody moved. Then panic hit. Someone shouted, "Run!" They all turned and sprinted toward their vehicle parked a short distance away. You can hear the camera shaking as one of them keeps recording, breathing fast, branches snapping under their feet. Most of them managed to reach the car, but one friend slipped behind. And in just seconds, a lion charged. The attack was sudden and brutal. The camera doesn't show everything clearly, but you can hear it. The growl, the scream, the chaos.
اختك قتلتها والله اكلتها. No, 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 no. لا اله الا الله. بدي تعصفني.
Then the others screamed and cried from inside the vehicle as the lions dragged their friend away into the jungle. The person recording never stopped filming. From inside the car, you can hear sobbing, helpless cries echoing through the trees as the reality sinks in. They came to see wildlife. They didn't expect to become part of it. The jungle went quiet again, almost like nothing had happened. So if you were standing there in that moment, would you have known what to do any differently? A man went deep into a dense forest during the daytime, carrying a gun and planning to camp alone. The trees were thick, sunlight barely cutting through the canopy. He was filming casually, showing the quiet surroundings, talking like everything was under control. And then, out of nowhere, the bushes behind him exploded with movement. A bear charged straight at him. No warning. No time to think. He tried to raise his gun. You can see the camera shake violently as he stumbles backward. There's a loud thud as he falls hard onto the ground. After that, the footage becomes chaotic. Leaves, dirt, sky flashing across the frame. The only clear thing you hear is his groaning. Deep, painful sounds as the bear overwhelms him. No clear visuals of the attack, just the terrifying audio of a man struggling in the middle of nowhere. And then, the clip cuts off. No aftermath, no update. Later, no confirmed information was released about whether he survived or not. The forest went silent again. So if you were alone in the wilderness and something that powerful charged at you, would you even have a second to react? A solo camper was riding his bike down a narrow dirt path in the middle of the day. Sunlight pouring through the trees, birds chirping, everything feeling completely normal. It was the kind of peaceful trail people take to clear their heads. And then he heard it. Soft at first, almost blending in with the wind, but unmistakable. It sounded like a woman crying, not laughing, not calling out. Crying.
रोड कितने खराब है यार। अबे रोने की आवाज कहाँ से आ रही है? अबे कहाँ से आ रही भाई ये आवाज? क्या सीन है भाई ये? Hello?
He slows the bike. The sound comes again. Clearer this time. A broken, desperate sob. Like someone in real pain. He pulls over completely and turns off the engine. Now it's just silence. Except for that crying. Coming from somewhere deeper in the trees. He calls out. "Hello, are you okay?" No response. Just more crying. Same tone, same rhythm. Not moving. Not getting closer, not getting farther away, just there. But the woods are empty. No movement, no figure, nothing. Now his voice starts to shake. He calls out again, louder this time. "Who's crying?" And just like that, the sound stops. Instantly. No fading, no footsteps running away. Just dead silence. The kind that makes your ears ring. That's when fear hits him. He rushes back to his bike, her heart pounding, and speeds off without looking back. Later, he said the crying didn't sound human anymore once he replayed it in his head. It sounded almost staged. So if no one was there, then who or what was crying in the middle of those woods in broad daylight? A young man was exploring a long, dark tunnel when he started hearing strange noises echoing from deep inside. At first, he thought it might be an injured animal or something harmless. So curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to investigate. The air felt heavy, the walls closing in, each step echoing unnaturally as he moved forward. Then, it happened.
What the hell? Hello? What was that?
A sudden, terrifying scream ripped through the tunnel. It wasn't animal. It wasn't human in any familiar way. The sound froze him in place for a heartbeat. Then his instincts kicked in. Heart racing, he spun around and ran as fast as he could. The echo of that inhuman scream following him all the way out. The video ends with his frantic breathing and the dark tunnel behind him. Whatever was inside, it wasn't friendly. So the question is, if you heard that scream echoing through a tunnel, would you have had the courage to keep going? A group of friends went deep into the jungle for a weekend camping trip, miles away from the nearest town, and surrounded by thick trees and total darkness. That night, as they sat around their small campfire, laughing and telling stories, one of them noticed something strange in the distance. Far beyond the tree line, deep inside the dense forest, a sudden flash of light burst into the sky. It wasn't lightning. The sky was clear, and it wasn't a passing car. They were too far from any road. At first, they brushed it off. Maybe someone else camping. Maybe a flare. But then it happened again. This time, brighter. The entire sky above the jungle lit up for a split second, like a giant camera flash going off in the distance. One of them started recording. You can hear their voices shift from joking to nervous.
มันเป็นระเบิด
ทั้งแสงคือระเบิดเลย
อุ้ยทำ
เขาวางไว้
เธอก็กลับสิมันระเบิดแล้วเธอจะอยู่ทำไปอะไร
เอาฉันให้เธออัดคลิปเนี่ย
อัดอยู่เนี่ยเธอกลับรถไปห่วยรู้ว่าระเบิดก็รีบกลับ
ตายเยอะเลยเยอะนี่เนาะ
อุ้ยตชดอยู่ในนั้นเยอะอยู่เด้อตชดคืออะไร
ลูก
ตำรวจ
หล
ชายแดน
เออลูก
โอ้โห
ลูกตรงนั้นเนาะ
อุ้ยไปเร็ว
ทำไมมันลง
เยอะใช่
ๆมันระเบิดเองเหรอ
แล้วมันมีบอด
อุ้ยแม่ไปอยู่ห่วยอยู่ทำไปอะไร
The light kept appearing every few minutes. Flash, darkness, flash again. Each time stronger, almost rhythmic, like something powering up. But there was no sound, no thunder, no explosion, just light swallowing the treetops and then vanishing. The friends stood there frozen, staring into the darkness, waiting for the next burst. And when it came, it was the brightest yet, illuminating the entire canopy, casting long shadows toward their camp. And then, nothing. No more flashes, just deep jungle silence. They didn't sleep that night. The next morning, they searched the area from a distance and found no burn marks, no other camps, no signs anyone had been there. So what was producing a light powerful enough to brighten the entire sky from the heart of an empty jungle? It's just another normal night drive. Dash cam rolling, headlights cutting through an empty stretch of road. And then, out of nowhere, there's something blocking the way. Debris, maybe a stalled object, just enough to force the driver to slow down. For a split second, it feels like a minor inconvenience. But then the shadows move. Figures step out from both sides of the road. Fast, coordinated, closing in. Within seconds, it's clear this isn't an accident. It's a setup. Armed silhouettes rush toward the vehicle, trying to box it in. The tension is unreal. You can almost feel the driver's heartbeat through the screen. But instead of freezing, he reacts, instantly throws the car into reverse. Tires screech. The engine roars. The group starts chasing, I trying to surround the car before it can escape. The vehicle whips around with inches to spare and launches back down the road, disappearing into the darkness before the trap can fully close. Text overlays flash warnings. Attempted carjacking/robbery setup. Never stop in isolated areas. Trust your instincts. Escape first, questions later. And that's why clips like this go viral, because it shows how fast an ordinary moment can turn into a life or death decision. When the road becomes a trap, hesitation is the real danger. So if you were behind that wheel, would your instincts kick in fast enough before they closed the circle? The storm rolled in fast, dark clouds swallowing the sky. 1 second the world was normal, The next, a blinding flash of lightning struck right over the house. There was no delay between the flash and the thunder. 0 seconds. It was like the storm had dropped its fury straight onto the roof, shaking windows and rattling doors. You can hear the faint hum of fear in the background as the camera trembles, capturing the raw, immediate power of nature. For a moment, everything freezes. Smoke or dust rises from the strike, and the house seems suspended in that split second between awe and terror. The sheer intensity is hard to look away from. Beautiful, deadly, and absolutely unforgiving. It's a moment that reminds you just how small we are compared to the forces above us. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how terrifying would it be to witness lightning strike your house directly above you? The footage begins in the deep ocean. Calm. Quiet. Just the steady sound of bubbles as a diver films the endless blue around her. The water feels peaceful, almost hypnotic. She moves slowly, focused on what's in front of her. But behind her, something shifts in the darkness. At first, it's just a shadow. Then it becomes clear. A massive great white shark gliding silently closer. The terrifying part is how unaware she is. The shark doesn't thrash or rush. It moves with slow, controlled power, closing the gap inch by inch. The silence of the water makes it worse. No warning sound. No sudden splash. Just a predator approaching from behind while the camera keeps rolling. And then the moment changes. Tension spikes as the reality of what's happening sets in.
Perfect down here, look at it. I saw the hunting. Hi there. Ow!
There's no dramatic music, no edits, just raw footage of how quickly a peaceful dive can turn into a life or death encounter. The ocean may look calm on the surface, but beneath it, you're never truly alone. So if you were that diver, would you have sensed the danger before it was too late? At first, it looks like a sandstorm rolling across the horizon of the Sahara Desert. The sky darkens, the air thickens, but then you realize it's moving differently. It's alive. A massive locust swarm, millions, sometimes billions of insects, sweeping across the desert like a shifting, buzzing cloud. The sound alone is overwhelming, like distant rain mixed with static. Locust swarms form when conditions are just right. Rainfall, vegetation growth, rapid breeding. And once their numbers explode, they travel hundreds of kilometers searching for food. When they descend, fields can be stripped bare within hours. Crops, trees, anything green. Entire agricultural regions across North Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Asia have historically suffered severe damage during major outbreaks. A single large swarm can consume as much food in one day as thousands of people. Scientists now track these swarms carefully using satellites and field monitoring because once they grow to full scale, and stopping them becomes incredibly difficult. Watching that living cloud move across the desert, swallowing the horizon, you can't help but wonder, if it suddenly changed direction, how long would it take to erase everything in its path? The video opens on a stormy lakeside, wind howling, rain hitting the water, and then you see it, a fallen power line dangling into the lake, glowing blue beneath the surface. At first it almost looks unreal, like special effects. But then the fish start reacting, hundreds of them, thrashing, jumping out of the water, surfacing all at once in total chaos. The water itself seems alive, vibrating with a silent, invisible force. Some people in the comments claim it's AI, but incidents like this have happened before, including verified reports from early 2026 near Table Rock Lake, where storm damage caused power lines to collapse into the water by electrocuting fish in large numbers. When high-voltage AC lines, often carrying between 7,200 and 34,500 volts, hit a body of water, the current spreads rapidly. Fish are extremely sensitive to electrical fields. The shock disrupts their nervous systems instantly, triggering violent disorientation known as electrotaxis, and then death. Watching the footage, the most disturbing part isn't the glow, it's how fast it happens. One moment the lake is calm, the next, it turns into a lethal electric field. No explosion, no dramatic warning, just invisible energy moving silently through the water. So if a single fallen line can turn an entire shoreline deadly in seconds, how safe are our power grids when storms hit? In a quiet, remote village, a local resident captured something that has the internet buzzing. A small, but strange creature that looks almost like a foal, but something about it is off. Its proportions are unusual, its movements unsettling. The video has gone viral, leaving people everywhere questioning what they're seeing. Is it real? A trick of the light? Or something far more mysterious? Some locals insist it's a rare genetic anomaly or mutation, while others are convinced it's the legendary chupacabra. Scientists haven't weighed in, and speculation is running wild. And neighbors insist they've never seen anything like it before, which only adds to the mystery. Every frame of the video leaves more questions than answers. Where did it come from? Why does it look so unnatural? Whatever it is, one thing is clear. It doesn't look like any normal animal. Tiny, strange, and a little creepy. It could be a mutation, a new species, or even something unknown to science. So the real question is, if you saw it standing in front of you in the wild, would you get closer or run? At the National Championship air races in Reno, pilot Tom Richard came closer to disaster than anyone could imagine. Preparing for takeoff in his Formula One plane Precious Metal, he noticed engine trouble and wisely aborted the launch. He shut down the engine, opened the canopy, and raised his hands, signaling he was out of the race. But safety in air racing is razor thin. Moments later, John Parker, piloting Sawbones directly behind Richard, began his takeoff roll. The footage is tense. Parker's aircraft sped straight toward Richard's stationary plane. At the very last second, Parker veered slightly, but his right wing struck Richard's open canopy and brushed his raised hand, missing his head by inches. The canopy shattered. Parker's wing suffered minor damage, yet both pilots stayed remarkably calm. Richard climbed out unharmed, signaling he was safe, and the race was immediately halted, and safety protocols were re-evaluated. Communication procedures, abort protocols, and takeoff spacing were all improved. This near miss serves as a chilling reminder of how little separates control from catastrophe in high-speed aviation. So, if you were in that cockpit, would you have stayed calm or frozen in terror? Deep in the quiet corners of the forest lives the fern hugger, a plant that seems almost alive. Touch its delicate leaves, and they fold inward in an instant, like it's shyly retreating or giving you a secret, leafy hug. It's a simple movement, but watching it feels magical, like the plant is aware of your presence.
Он живой.
Every touch turns a normal moment in the forest into something mysterious, almost alive. But this isn't magic. It's nature's clever trick. The fern's cells shift water pressure in seconds, folding the leaves to protect themselves from harm. It's fast, precise, and completely intentional. Every movement is a reminder that even the smallest living things have hidden intelligence, and the forest is full of secrets, waiting for someone curious enough to notice. So the next time you wander into a dense forest and brush against a fern, would you pause and see it fold back at you? Or would you keep walking, missing the tiny miracle hiding right under your fingertips? This footage was recorded by a worker employed by Pemex, one of Mexico's largest industrial companies, during an ordinary shift near the town of Cebadilla. He was going about his work when something in the distance caught his attention, something that did not belong in the landscape he had looked at countless times before. He raised his camera and began recording. At the top of a tall tree, standing completely upright against the sky, was a figure. It had the shape and silhouette of a woman. It was not sitting. It was not crouching. It was standing, at the very top of the tree, in a way that no person should be able to stand. The worker was visibly shaken, but he kept the camera steady long enough to capture what he was seeing. The figure barely moved. It simply stood there, on high above the ground, with a stillness that felt less like stillness and more like waiting. There was no wind strong enough to explain its balance. There was no structure, no platform, nothing visible beneath it that could support a human body at that height. Cebadilla is a small town, but it carries a long reputation for strange and unexplained events. Locals who have lived there for years say that sightings of this kind are not entirely uncommon in that area, and that the land itself seems to hold something that resists ordinary explanation. The worker eventually lowered his camera and moved away from the spot. The figure remained where it was unmoving, unbothered, still standing at the top of that tree as the distance between them grew. The footage was shared online and drew attention from people who had no easy answer to offer. No investigation followed. No official explanation was given. The tree stood in the same place it always had, in a town that had seen things like this before and would likely see them again. If you had been standing in that field during your shift and looked up to find a figure watching silently from the top of a tree, would you have stayed to keep recording? The image came from a lone traveler hiking along a remote trail, a path that a camper passing through the same area had once described as deeply isolated, with dense forest pressing in from every direction. At some point along the trail, at eye level, and positioned directly facing the path, something had been attached to a tree. It was deliberately arranged, and nothing about it felt natural or accidental. The structure was built entirely from animal bones, carefully placed in a way that felt immediately threatening, like a warning that had been left there specifically for whoever came next. The precision of its placement made it impossible to dismiss. It wasn't scattered or fallen. It was assembled, and it was meant to be seen. Yet not every discovery like this points directly to danger. Some researchers and investigators have noted that similar displays occasionally trace back to macabre art individuals who use found bones and natural remains to create symbolic expressions deep in the wilderness, arrangements built from personal ritual or artistic intent rather than any desire to cause harm. But knowing that changes very little when you are standing alone on a trail, far from any help, staring at something you cannot explain. The identity of whoever placed it there remains unknown. The reason behind it remains unknown. And that uncertainty is what lingers long after the image fades from your screen. If you found something like that watching over the trail in silence, would you keep walking or would you turn back? This footage comes from a Ring doorbell camera mounted outside a private home, recording the front yard through the darkness of an ordinary night. The camera captures everything clearly: the stillness of the grass, the shadows along the edges of the yard, the quiet that belongs to late hours in a residential neighborhood. Then, without any warning or sound, a pale white shape appears in the center of the frame. It is translucent, soft at the edges, and unmistakably large, nothing like the small specks of dust that sometimes drift close to a lens. This was something different entirely. The figure has a human-like height and stays low, hovering just above the surface of the grass. It does not walk, it does not step. It moves slowly and smoothly from the left side of the yard toward the right, gliding across the open space in complete silence. Its form is misty but deliberate, holding its shape as it travels, unlike any insect or airborne particle the camera had ever recorded on previous nights. There is a stillness to the way it moves, unhurried, unbothered, as if it belongs there, more than anything else in the frame. It crosses the yard without pausing and eventually fades quietly into the dark shadows at the far edge of the property. The camera continues recording. The yard returns to stillness. Nothing else moves for the remainder of the night. The homeowner reviewed the footage the following morning and found no explanation for what had passed through. No weather event, no equipment fault, no visitor. Just an empty yard, a running camera, and something pale that came and went without a sound. If that camera belonged to your home and you watched this footage alone late at night, would you feel safe stepping outside? This footage was captured late at night and shared online by someone who had been standing outside when the stillness of the evening was broken by a faint, slow sound. The wind was almost completely absent that night. The leaves were motionless. The surrounding area was quiet in the way that deep nighttime hours often are not peaceful, but empty. Then came the sound of branches, barely audible, like something brushing slowly against wood. The person holding the camera looked up and pointed the lens toward the tree above. What appeared in the frame was a white figure, motionless and tall, positioned high among the dark branches. It did not move. It made no sound. It stood between the branches the way something stands when it is not concerned about being seen. Still, upright and fully present. The camera remained on it for several seconds, and during those seconds, the figure did not shift, did not sway, and showed no response to the light or the person below. There was a quality to its stillness that felt less like an object at rest, and more like something that was fully aware and simply choosing not to move. The branches around it were dark and bare. Nothing else was up there. When the camera shifted slightly, the figure was still in the same position. It had not moved during the entire time the lens was on it. The person recording did not speak. The night remained silent around them both. The footage ended without resolution. No closer look, no explanation, no follow-up from anyone who might have climbed up to investigate. Just a white shape, high in the branches, on a night when the wind had stopped and the leaves had gone completely still. It was quiet and overcast, the kind of morning where the light barely reaches the forest floor. Somewhere along the deeper stretch of the trail, her dog suddenly stopped and refused to move forward. The woman looked up from the path to see what had caused it. What she saw between the trees was a full human-shaped figure, hovering silently just above the ground. It was pale, still, and attached to nothing she could see.
Imagine being on your trail run and then seeing this.
It drifted gently in the quiet air, as if it had been there long before she arrived and had no interest in her presence. She slowly backed away and did not return to that trail for several weeks. When she finally went back, she stopped at the same spot and saw it again, and recorded it. Just trees, silence, and the memory of something shaped like a person floating quietly in the morning air. If you were walking alone that morning and your dog suddenly stopped, would you have looked up? Trail camera placed deep in the woods was suddenly triggered. A camper staying in the area had mentioned how unusually quiet the forest tends to be at that hour. No wind, no movement, nothing to disturb the stillness. So when the user later reviewed the footage, he wasn't expecting to find anything worth a second look. But something near a tree in the frame immediately gave him pause. A strange shape was visible just beside the tree, subtly different from the surrounding darkness, slightly out of place against the natural background. He couldn't immediately identify it, and that uncertainty was enough to push him to share the image online. The post gained attention quickly. Viewers began offering explanations. Some argued it was simply a tree stump, natural forest growth, or an odd arrangement of branches caught in the camera's flash. Others pointed to pareidolia, the well-documented tendency of the human mind to find familiar shapes within random patterns, particularly in darkness. A few commenters suggested he return to the same spot in daylight and take a comparison photograph to settle the debate. But one question stayed with him long after the thread went quiet. If that shape was nothing more than part of the tree, if it was only wood and shadow and the mind playing tricks, then what exactly walked through those woods that night and triggered the camera in the first place? The image came from a Ring doorbell camera installed at a home situated along the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina, a region surrounded by dense forest and very little nearby activity. A camper passing through that same stretch of trail had once described how unnervingly quiet and isolated the area feels once darkness sets in. At first glance, the photograph appeared completely ordinary, just another routine doorbell capture from a quiet night. But the longer you studied the frame, the more something felt wrong. Near the entrance of the home, a small upright figure could be seen standing in a position that didn't clearly match any recognizable shape or form. The user described it as resembling a little person, though its exact outline remained difficult to define. Without any motion to reference, the still image left far too much open to interpretation, making it nearly impossible to determine what was truly standing there. As the image spread across the platform, viewers began offering explanations. Some suggested it could be an animal caught mid-movement, a cat, a bird, or small wildlife distorted by the camera's exposure. But without video footage, there was no way to confirm how it moved, how tall it actually stood, or where it came from. If something appeared that close to your front door in the dead of night and no explanation ever came, would you feel safe staying inside? It began with a man hiking deep inside a national forest, well beyond any marked trail, the kind of place where, as a camper exploring the same region once noted, there are no signs of other people, and the silence feels total. Moving through the dense woodland, the hiker came across something he had no reason to expect: a small, man-made cabin sitting quietly among the trees. It looked abandoned. It looked forgotten. And yet something about it felt deeply out of place. What he found inside made the unease immediate. A hole had been cut into the floor, unpacked with sandbags and covered in flies. Around the exterior of the structure, makeshift arrangements of bottles had been placed, with clear intention positioned to produce noise if disturbed, as though designed to alert someone of an approaching visitor. But the most deeply troubling discovery waited outside. On a nearby tree, objects had been nailed directly into the bark photographs of people: belt buckles, bottle caps, keychains, and rings, all arranged with a deliberateness that felt less like decoration and far more like a collection. Someone had been gathering these things. Someone had been keeping them. No one was found at the site. No explanation was left behind. After the hiker shared his discovery online, The response was nearly unanimous: leave and do not return. Whatever that cabin was built for, it was not built to be stumbled upon by a stranger passing through. If you found yourself standing in front of a place like that, hidden where no one was ever supposed to look, would you stay to understand it, or walk away without ever looking back? The woman sharing a disturbing experience from an evening walk in a quiet forest. A camper staying nearby had also noticed how empty the area had become that evening. For months, she had seen the same man sitting on the same bench almost every day. He never spoke, never interacted, and simply stared ahead. At first, it felt unsettling, but nothing more. That evening, as she walked past the bench, the man stood up moments later and began following her. Sensing something was wrong, she turned around and walked back the way she came, but the man stopped, turned, and followed her again. Realizing the situation was serious, she sat down on a bench and kept pepper spray hidden in her hand. The man walked past her and sat on another bench nearby, remaining within view. She quietly opened her phone camera and noticed his behavior change in a way that made the situation even more disturbing. When he realized he was being recorded, he quickly tried to hide, returned to the bench, adjusted himself, and then walked away. Shaken, she ran and contacted forest guards, but even after searching, the man was never found. The experience stayed with her long after. If someone watched you in silence for days, would you ignore it or trust your instincts? With a photo taken back in 2020 that was recently rediscovered. The person who captured it doesn't remember why the photo was taken in the first place. A camper visiting the home at the time had also taken a few random pictures, adding to the confusion. At first, the image seemed ordinary, with nothing immediately standing out. But when he showed the photo to his girlfriend, her reaction was immediate. In the image, just above a chair, a strange face appeared to be watching. What made it more unsettling was the location. It was her childhood home, a place filled with familiar memories. The person who shared the photo admitted he did not believe in anything paranormal, yet something about the image felt difficult to ignore. He later shared it online, asking others for their opinions. Some suggested it could be burnt wood or damaged material reflecting sunlight in an unusual way. It might have been nothing more than a trick of light and texture. Still, the image left an uneasy feeling behind. If you saw a face like that in a place you once called home, would you try to explain it or quietly look away? With a Reddit user who shared an experience after witnessing the Brown Mountain Lights from Wise Man's View in North Carolina. A camper standing nearby had also been watching the vast darkness stretch beyond the viewpoint. Below them was a steep cliff, and beyond it, miles of dense wilderness disappearing into the night. The area felt quiet and distant, with no visible signs of human activity. According to the user, more than 15 bright lights suddenly appeared across the mountainside. They seemed to hover and move in areas where no roads are known to exist. The sight was unusual, especially given the isolation of the region. Reports of these lights go back over a century, with some of the earliest accounts dating to around 1910, and many witnesses have described similar glowing movements in the same area. Over the years, different explanations have been suggested, including natural causes like geological or mineral-related activity. Still, no single explanation has ever been universally accepted. The lights continue to appear without warning, leaving those who see them searching for answers. If you stood there in the dark and watched those lights move across the mountains, would you try to explain them or simply watch in silence? After a group of campers shared footage from a trail camera they had placed in Dry Fork Canyon, one of the cameras was placed only a few feet from their tent. At around 3:50 in the morning, while the entire camp was asleep, the camera suddenly activated. The figure that stepped into view appeared strangely human. but something about it didn't feel right. It moved upright near the camera, its shape pale and unfamiliar against the darkness of the trees. The movement was slow and deliberate, almost cautious, as if it knew the camera was there. For a brief moment, it lingered in front of the lens before continuing past the campsite and fading into the shadows of the forest. The campers later said the location sits only about 30 miles from the mysterious Skinwalker Ranch, a place long connected with unexplained sightings. When they reviewed the footage the next day, the quiet night suddenly felt much less peaceful. Whether it was a person, something unknown, or something that simply didn't want to be seen. The camera never recorded it again, but knowing something passed only a few feet from their tent while they slept raises an unsettling thought. If your trail camera caught something like that outside your camp at 3:50 a.m., would you go back there again? This is exactly why people say never go into the forest alone after dark. What started as a quiet solo hike quickly turned into something far more disturbing. The creator was calmly filming the trail ahead when they began to feel it, that strange sensation of being watched. At first, it was just small sounds, leaves shifting, faint steps off the path. But every time they turned the camera toward the trees, nothing was there. Then it happened.
Yep. I can't go anymore. I'm leaving. What is that? Fuck is it? Dude, no! It looks like a person, man. But no person. It looks like a fucking person.
Deep between the trunks, something moved. Not clearly, not fully visible. Just a shape slipping from one tree to another. The way it moved wasn't normal walking. It was controlled, smooth, always staying just out of clear view, almost like it didn't want its face seen. The creator's breathing changes in the footage. You can hear the fear building as they realize, whatever it is, it's pacing them. We're analyzing the full clip frame by frame to study the movement patterns and figure out what was actually in those shadows. I track some of the most unexplainable encounters from around the world, and clips like this don't show up twice. So if you saw something following you in the dark that refused to fully reveal itself, would you stop and confront it, or pretend you never saw it at all? It was filmed using a Sony Handycam TRV-36 Hi8, and the footage looks old grainy like something straight from the early 2000s. The video shows an empty playground at night. No kids, no wind, just the faint hum and static of the camera capturing the dark, quiet scene. Shadows stretch across the ground, and the tall yellow slide stands alone, almost glowing in the weak light. The camera slowly moves toward the slide. At first, everything seems normal. The ladder, the platform, the dark tunnel at the top. Then something appears. From inside the slide, a solid white object begins to descend. Slowly. Not sliding like a person, not tumbling, just moving steadily down the enclosed tunnel. It doesn't look like clothing. It doesn't look like a child. Just a featureless white form gliding closer and closer. The person holding the camera doesn't speak. You can hear their breathing quicken as the object nears the bottom. And just as it's about to come out, the camera abruptly shuts off. No scream, no explanation, just darkness. So if you were there, holding a camera, and saw something like that sliding toward you, would you stay to see what comes out, or run before it reaches the bottom? In the middle of a dark forest, a horror content creator walks slowly along a damp dirt path, lit only by his camera's flashlight. The sound of insects fills the air, and tall trees block out the moonlight. He speaks softly to the camera, trying to stay calm. Then suddenly, he stops. Because standing right in the middle of the trail is a white figure wrapped from head to toe, completely still. Facing him, for a few seconds he doesn't move. Neither does the figure. He tries to convince himself it's just cloth caught on a branch. But then, without warning, the figure jumps backward, not turning around, not making a sound. It glides several meters back in one unnatural motion, still facing the camera the entire time. His breathing gets heavier. His hand starts shaking. He slowly steps back, and the flashlight beam shifts for just a second. And when it centers again, the white figure is gone. No footsteps, no sound, nothing. So if you were alone in that forest and saw something move like that, would you chase it to prove it's fake, or run without ever looking back? A group of hikers trekking through the mountains of Virginia were relaxing at the top of a rocky ridge, enjoying the view and catching their breath. The camera shows them laughing, sitting near the edge. Then, a low rumbling sound starts beneath them. At first they think it's just an animal moving inside a cave under the rocks. Maybe a bear, maybe loose stones shifting. The sound grows louder. Suddenly, an earth-shattering roar explodes from below. Not a normal animal sound. This was deep, violent. It echoed through the mountain like something massive was trying to claw its way out from inside it. The ground beneath them begins to shift. Small rocks break loose and start sliding down the slope. One hiker loses footing and nearly slips off the edge. And if it wasn't for another member grabbing him at the last second, he would have fallen straight down the mountainside. The video cuts as the group scrambles away from the ridge, the roar still echoing behind them. Some believe it was a rock slide. Others are convinced it was something far bigger, something territorial. So what do you think was beneath that mountain? A natural collapse, or something like Bigfoot defending its ground? A farmer in rural Mexico began noticing something strange. His field caretakers refused to go out at night. They seemed nervous, distracted, constantly making excuses. When he demanded answers, they stayed quiet. Until one day, after he threatened to fire them, they finally told him the truth. The man claimed he had seen a woman standing alone among the crops before sunrise. At first, he thought she was a trespasser and went to confront her. But when she slowly turned toward him, her face wasn't normal. Hollowed eyes, sunken cheeks, skin stretched tight over bone. And when she opened her mouth to scream, she had a forked tongue. After that, he remembered nothing. The farmer didn't believe in ghost stories, so he decided to patrol the farm himself at night. On the second night, while recording, he captured something standing between the rows. A tall and thin figure, barely visible in the dark. The video ends just as it begins to move toward him. So what do you think is walking through those fields after midnight? A frightened imagination? Or something that was never human to begin with? In Sungay Undan, residents captured a massive crocodile after days of tense surveillance. The reptile was estimated to be nearly 7 meters long and weigh around 1 ton. Locals say the predator had been lurking near the riverbanks, creating fear throughout the community. With no advanced equipment, the villagers used simple tools, bait, ropes, and heavy pieces of wood to trap it. The operation was extremely dangerous. One wrong move could have cost someone their life.
Allahu Akbar! Besarnya! Ya Allah! Ya Allah! Besarnya! Astagfirullahaladzim! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar ya Allah! Allahu Akbar! Coba! Muntah! Ikat pelampung tu pelampung tu ikat! Pelampung! Ya Allah! Ya Allah! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Awas pan. Tali kampung.
The struggle to restrain and drag the giant reptile onto land was filled with high tension. But somehow, no injuries were reported. Once secured, officials evacuated the crocodile to be handled by BKSDA Riau for proper management. But seeing a creature that large pulled from the same waters people use every day raises a chilling thought. If one giant was hiding there all along, how many more are still beneath the surface? A video from 2006 shows a disturbing humanoid figure that many people connect to the urban legend known as the Rake, sometimes called the Monstruo Rastrillo.
La última batería com queda. Que tio, és que per flipar, eh? Que sí, collons, que sí, tia. Escolta, em sents o no? Va, corre, tia, va!
The footage is low-quality shaky, like it was never meant to capture something clearly. In the clip, a pale, thin figure appears crouched near the edge of a wooded area at night. Its limbs look unnaturally long, its posture wrong, almost animal-like. For a few seconds, it doesn't move. Then suddenly, it shifts forward in a quick, a jerky motion. Not walking normally, but crawling, low to the ground. The person filming starts breathing heavily, the camera struggling to focus in the darkness. The figure seems to notice the camera and tilts its head slightly, as if studying the person watching it. The video ends abruptly, cutting to black without explanation. No official source ever confirmed what was captured that night. Some say it was staged. Others believe it was something never meant to be seen. But if you were alone and saw a pale figure like that crawling toward you in the dark, would you stay and record, or drop the camera and run? A fisherman in Indonesia captured something strange on the surface of a quiet river. At first, it looked like a small disturbance in the water, but within seconds, it formed into a visible vortex, spinning tightly, cutting through the calm surface. What made it unsettling was the way it moved. It didn't just spin in place, it traveled, rapidly, heading straight toward the shore, as if something underneath was guiding it. The fisherman can be heard breathing nervously as the swirling water approaches land. There was no boat nearby, no visible object beneath the surface, no storm, no strong wind. And then, just as quickly as it appeared, the vortex vanished. The water went still, like nothing had ever happened. Some believe it was caused by underwater groundwater movement, or gas escaping from beneath the riverbed. Others say it could be a rare natural phenomenon science doesn't fully understand yet. And of course, there are those who think it may be something far less ordinary. With so many unexplained anomalies being reported around the world lately, you have to wonder if the water beside you suddenly started moving with purpose. Would you assume it's nature or something else entirely? That night, the sky looked completely normal. Dark, calm, silent. And then, out of nowhere, a ball of fire appeared in the sky. It didn't streak across like a shooting star. It didn't flash and disappear. It hovered, glowing bright, moving slowly and steadily, almost controlled.
Apa emangnya?
Apa ini nih? Nggak mati-mati nih ya.
Apa banaspati itu emangnya? Hah?
Hantu, Jan.
Oh iya bang.
Wih, nggak mati-mati dia.
Oh iya bang. Iya tuh bang. Oh iya tuh.
Apa ini ya?
The person filming can be heard whispering in disbelief as the fiery orb drifts across the darkness. Its light stays consistent. No sparks falling, no explosion. Just a stable, floating flame suspended in the air. It doesn't behave like typical space debris. Doesn't look random. It moves with strange calmness before slowly fading from view. Some say it was a rare natural phenomenon. Others choose to stay quiet, unsure of what they witnessed. But the camera clearly captured the moment the night sky revealed something unusual. So, if you looked up and saw a glowing ball of fire hovering silently above you, would you assume it's science or something we still don't understand? Late one night, a couple of security guards noticed something strange across the street. At first, it was just a dark shape moving under a dim streetlight. But the longer they stared, the more wrong it felt. One guard immediately pulled out his phone to record, while the other slowly walked toward the exact spot where the figure had been seen. The street was quiet. No cars, no wind, just tension in the air.
Right now, you guys ain't gonna believe me, but by the fire hydrant, I seen somebody walk by and they disappeared by the tree. I know you think I'm fucking crazy. ¿Viste, güey? Iba pasando, someone was walking by, bro, and they just disappeared when they got by the tree.
Un guardia de seguridad se dirige al lugar donde su compañero
I'm serious,
asegura que
man.
vio algo.
There was a lady walking. ¿Qué pasó, güey? Oh, güey, mira. Ahí va saliendo. What the fuck? Mira. What the hell? Salió de un hoyo, güey, no mames. Mira. Ahí va. What the fuck?
According to them, the dark figure was clearly walking along the road, not running, not floating, just walking. And then it suddenly vanished, not turned a corner, not ducked behind a car, just disappeared. When the guard reached the spot seconds later, there was no one there. Empty pavement, empty sidewalk, nothing. They were about to brush it off. When moments later, the dark figure appeared again further down the street. Same shape, same slow movement. Some believe it could be a witch. Others think it might be something else entirely. So, if you saw a shadow walking at night that vanished right in front of you, would you assume it's your eyes playing tricks or something watching from the dark? Off the coast of Vancouver, a strange light suddenly appeared in the sky. The video was recorded from a boat when a bright horizontal line cut across the clouds. It moved steadily, kept a constant intensity, and then vanished without a trace. No defined object, no sound, no flashes of lightning, just a mysterious glow hovering above the water. Some say it could be a rare atmospheric phenomenon. Others speculate it's unidentified technology. The video is shared exactly as it was captured. No edits, no filters, no effects. Nothing was added, nothing removed. So if you were on that boat and saw a bright line silently slicing through the clouds, would you try to follow it or watch quietly, wondering what else might be out there? Have you ever watched a thunderstorm where the lightning flashes so fast the sky barely has time to go dark? It almost feels unreal, like the clouds are flickering instead of striking. That kind of non-stop lightning usually isn't random. It's a sign that something powerful is happening inside the storm. One major reason for this is something called convective available potential energy, or CAPE. The Cape measures how unstable the atmosphere is and how much energy rising warm air contains.
What does that mean?
It's heat lightning. That's what Thomas was. I really don't know what that means.
Oh, I saw something over there.
But for people that haven't seen it, it's crazy.
I mean, I don't think. Where?
Over there, on the right. It looks like a funnel or something.
Holy shit!
When warm air rises and stays warmer than the air around it, it keeps accelerating upward. The higher the Cape value measured in joules per kilogram, the stronger those updrafts become. And in storms with very high Cape, those intense updrafts separate electrical charges inside the cloud much faster. Energy builds quickly. The electric field breaks down repeatedly, and lightning fires again and again, sometimes multiple times per second. So when you see the sky flashing non-stop, you're witnessing a storm packed with extreme instability and power. The real question is, if it's generating that much energy above you, how much stronger could it still become? In the remote rivers of southern and central Thailand, massive freshwater crocodiles lurk beneath the surface. The most feared is the Siamese crocodile, which can grow over 13 feet long. In recent years, small boats carrying fishermen and wood have reportedly been attacked or even destroyed when these crocodiles defended their territory. Experts warn that murky water, strong currents, and thick mangroves make these rivers extremely dangerous, especially at night. You can't see what's beneath you. Officials advise avoiding remote waterways after dark, staying away from riverbanks where crocodiles are known to rest, and never trying to feed or approach them. Thailand's rivers are beautiful, but beauty can hide danger. So if your small boat suddenly rocked in the middle of a silent, muddy river, would you assume it's just the current or something rising from below? Now, drop a comment with the scariest thing that's ever happened to you outdoors. And if these clips genuinely creeped you out, hit like. Subscribe too, because your story might end up in the next compilation.